All right, Israel. Most High in Christ bless everybody. All right. So we'll give it a moment for others to jump in. So two things, Lord's will, I want to talk about today, and the first topic is failure, and failure is real. Shalom, Yakana. Stay around, brother. And then we're gonna go back. And the second topic is Matthew 5. Israel, failure is so real that at this point we see it, and to most people it just appears to be the norm, and it's heartbreaking. And it was foretold about failure. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Despite popular belief, we are not a victim. We're not victims of an uncertain circumstance. We are victims of a more divine situation. And that divine situation was documented, recorded, witnessed for testimony among many people, and we now have become the fruit of those things. Okay? So, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's see. Verse 15. Somebody read that.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right. So what is the voice? The voice, the mouth of God is the Bible. We got to listen. It shall come to pass if we will not listen to the voice of the Lord. Go ahead.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Go ahead. That
all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
And that's what you see today, and that's what I'm calling failure. See, this is text. But when you're driving down the street and you see people in some of the worst case conditions, it's so much to where, like I said, we just think that it's the normal. You see people in poverty, meaning poor stricken to the point to where they don't have no way out of it. You see people addicted to servitude, run down from work, body beat down from work. Jeremiah 2. All these are failures. You see fatherless people without any guidance. Jeremiah chapter 2 and I'll read it and give it to you. 5. It says, "Thus says the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and have failed." You have become vain. Our people have become vain. Neither said they. So after becoming vain, we didn't come back unto the Lord and said, hey, because we trust, we are what the society call a religious people, a spiritual people. Okay? Even though we don't deal with the word religions. To identify a person's preference, they just use the terminology of religion. You understand that? But true worshipers and followers know that we're not a branch of any type of religion. We are a nation that's sovereign from all other people upon the face of the earth. And we have a law, section, and commandments that we're trying to come back and we're trying to obey. But why have we failed? Why have we become vain? Because we're reading it. Because we responded as if the things that the Lord said, that there was something wrong with that. The way he tell you how to dress, the stuff that he tell you to eat, the people he tell you to be with, the ones that he tell you not to be with. We have responded, and we responded in actions, in act of rebellion, and it has costed us severely. Okay? It costed us severely to the point to where now we're in failure. Lamentations 5 and 7. Just get that, and then we're going to come right back to Jeremiah chapter 2. Call it out.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 7. Our fathers have sinned.
Our fathers have sinned. You see that? So when we read Jeremiah chapter 2, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me and have walked after vanity and became vain? Meaning now you failed. Because we thought that we saw sin in God. Right, Abanya? Knock it off. Don't distract him. Stay with the class. Life is an eyesore. Life is an eyesore. And we should see the grave necessity to do what? Try and fix it?
Yeah, try to correct the people to come on another level.
Okay, no matter how many times you said it, I'm not going to agree with that. I understand what you're saying. And we could make that to be an answer and make that to be right, but that's not what I'm looking for. Read the next. Read what you got in Lamentations.
This is Lamentations chapter 5 and 7.
Right.
Our fathers have sinned.
So we should make a grave necessity to try to do what? Not sin. Not sin. Because before you could fix somebody else, you got to fix yourself. Before you can instruct somebody else, did you not instruct yourself? Do you not follow your advice? Did you lose? Are you a winner? Are you applying? Do you have it together? Or you just walking words? You got a lot of people that are just walking words. They got much to say. But when it comes to doing it, nothing. Diddly squat. Because they don't understand that experience come over a period of time. The scriptures say afterwards it'll yield forth peaceable fruit. But a lot of people, they don't understand that. They get into something and the first thing they do is they give into sin. Our fathers have sinned, man. And they are not. They have failed. When you look in society, you see a failed society. You see our people that are homeless, they have failed. because they made bad choices. God has judged them, man. See how people addicted to alcohol early in the morning. You can't say nothing to them. Their parents have failed, they have failed. And they refuse to hearken. And the first thing that we want to do is run out and get them and say something to them. First thing we got to do is get ourselves together. Get the person in the mirror together. Get our houses together. Rule and control our spirit. Exhaust every avenue of trying to redeem and make sure yourself is not doing those very same things that ended up in a failure, and then you might have something to say to somebody else. From what? From experience, not from your memory. Because a memory is not as good of an experience as an actual experience. Always remember that. Our fathers have sinned. Go ahead.
And or not.
And or not. If we sin, you ain't going to make it, man. It doesn't matter who you think you are. You got fur skin now. Your skin, your face has got fullness now. You got life in you now. But go ahead and sin and see, don't God have the last laugh? God is not mocked. The people that you see have made bad choices. They was once rolling, thriving, prospering, doing their deal, doing their thing. One bad choice deceived them. And it grew in them. And then they began to have a pattern of bad choices. And it put them out there on the street. To where the only thing that they can serve, the cheapest thing on the street is a drug. People think that it's expensive. Drugs are cheap. It's cheaper than your cell phone bill. It's cheaper than the electric bill. It's cheaper than the car insurance. It's cheaper than a car note. Now you tell me, one fix is cheaper. So what do? And then a lot of them don't even realize it's so far gone. It's like something drifting off the sea. Sanity, the real world, the way that they used to look, they detach themselves from it so far. Reality is gone for them. It ain't gone for you. But for them, it's gone. That's why they have to stay medicated. That's why they have to stay medicated. And that's why they choose it. And all of you people out there that's fighting with your lies over the gateway drug of THC? God gonna get you. He gonna get you too. And he gonna let the devil have you. He gonna tell Satan, take them out of my people. Why is this on a buy-sell site? I don't know. But anyway, Lamentations 5 and 7. Read it.
Our fathers have sinned.
Our fathers have sinned. Go ahead.
And or not.
And they are not. The people that lived before you, they sinned. They didn't get away with it. Hey, you young, you youth, everybody in your youth, you drive down the street, you ride down the street at somebody else's expense. The AC that you feel is at somebody's expense. That transportation that you riding is at somebody else's expense. That food in your belly that's filling your gut, somebody else's expense. The ones that are forcing you to do the right thing, somebody else's expense. That's their energy. What happens when you have to fend for yourself? Are you going to swim out there with the sharks, knowing you a guppy or a little goldfish? You're going to get ate up and end up in the belly of that beast, trapped and can't get out. I interview real people, man. I once had a guy told me that somebody begged him right out here on the front of this school. Begged me. He said somebody begged him not to snort heroin. He said a friend of his, he begged him. He said, you don't want no parts of this. He begged him, he begged him, he begged him. He kept begging him. The guy kept telling him, no, you don't want none of this, man. And Satan rode that guy, and he kept begging until one time he gave in. He said that's the worst decision that he could ever make. Now he's a junkie. He said, somebody told me about you, man, that you give some good advice, and I just came down here to talk to you. That's fine, let's ride. You got to get clean. You want help? I'll look up some resources for you. Try and get you off the street into a rehab. Hey, everybody start off fresh. With your face looking clear, your eyes are white, and your teeth are white, and you have to brush your teeth and put deodorant on. Everybody start off with clean underclothes on. Because you were raised to be civil, you were raised to be normal. But when you start making those bad decisions and you leave your God, which is talking to you through, whether it's a mother, a father, uncle, somebody older, somebody with instructions, when you leave that, you're going to become vain. All you just see is the wear and tear and the years of hardship that's on the hard face of those people. That's all you see. You never really realize that that person once was fresh. They once was civil. But now they're possessed. And for a lot of them, it ain't no turning around. Except the Lord. That, all things are possible with him. But a lot of these people, they go down that road and they die so that a lot of us can see this is what you don't want to do. You don't want no parts of that. Failure is real. If you think that you can't end up homeless, think again. All you got to do is make one wrong move. And that wrong move will teach you to make another one. And now you got to cover up for those two and make a third. And now you're on the road. If you think you cannot end up selling your body, think again. Think again. Failure is real. Our fathers have sinned. What make you think you're going to get away with it? Read it again for them. We're going to read it over and over and over. Read it again for them.
This is Lamentations 5 and 7. Our fathers have sinned.
The people that have been before you have sinned, even in your generations. Go ahead.
And are not.
They ain't worth nothing. And are not. They have become vain. They lost. They lost. Broken homes. Hooked on drugs. Hooked on alcohol. Dead. Crazy. Got the crazies. They can't even... what is all these now spirits that's on them? ADHD and schizophrenic and bipolar depression. Those are spirits. That's still not. Now they ain't stable-minded. If you want to be stable-minded, go to get Isaiah 34. Isaiah 33 and 6. Right. Call it out.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability. Right? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability. Not beer, alcohol, wine, weed, crack, heroin, X. What's that other drug? More powerful than heroin. They mixing it with that heroin stuff. Yeah, fentanyl. Fentanyl. Yeah, so high it's killing them. That's what's having these people bent over. Fentanyl. these niggas out here doing it to our people? Fentanyl. Having them snorting it and mixing it with heroin. Uncut, dead bodies. Our fathers have sinned, messing with drugs, trying to be cool, trying to live without the Most High, and are not. Failure is for real. It ain't school. Please stop thinking that school, I'm going to be successful if I go to school, this, that, and the third. You're going to burn your life up, man. This white boy got you in the trick. I believe that's me, just me personally, man. He's the worst thing God ever created. You probably have a better chance in shark water going against piranhas than him. He terrible. Everything he do, he's got a plot, a plan behind it. But this ain't about him. If you want a stable mind and you want to have success, you're gonna have to deal with this Bible sooner or later. Because everybody that went up against it, they failed, man. Our fathers have sinned and are not. Wisdom and knowledge is going to be your stability. If not, you're going to end up a woman years later, worn out, down on your luck. Men going to keep tricking you. Wrong man tell you this, that, and the third. See, the thing about it with a man, the scriptures say, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Some other men, sisters, wake up. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Do y'all know what that means, sisters? If you know what that means, raise your hand in here. Okay. The brothers, do y'all know what it means? What does it mean, Obadiah?
All shapes, forms, fitness.
Yep. Yep. So you think you cute, don't you? Jay, Tony, Mari, Sarai, y'all think y'all cute? That's what he said to y'all? Yana. He only got eyes for you. He looking at everybody at the same time. And if you simple enough, if you not wise enough, you ain't gonna be stable. You gonna fall for it. And after he ain't dealt with you, he gonna be gone, bro. He gonna be gone in the wind. And the sad part about it is, because a woman don't have the wisdom of the scriptures, she'll fall for the same trick over and over and over, to the point to where she'll give up and she'll be like that woman in Luke saying she don't believe in marriage, because she don't never think that anybody could ever be righteous. She don't believe in righteousness. So people will forsake that. Don't put yourself in harm's way, and you won't have to worry about that. So all bread is sweet to them. And that's why after such abuse, you get women, they turn to the street. They don't turn to one, if they turn to one another, they'll just turn to the street. They'll just be like, I don't care. I'm just gonna do it for money then. They won't work a regular job. They'll be lazy, sleep all day, get up at nighttime. They don't care about themselves no more. But they didn't start off like that. They started off trying to find God just like y'all, looking for the Most High. But you know what happened? They ran into a whoremonger. They ran into many whoremongers. They didn't actually repent. So when we actually repent, we got to repent from our heart. We got to understand that our ways and the ways of the Lord are two different ways. And in order to be accepted of him, we have to do what he say. And in order to do what he say, guess what we got to do? We got to shut everybody out. That's the law of God. You got to shut everybody out in order to do what he say, to find him. Because God is a jealous God. And you'll begin to see, well, who's in there with you, God? Who's in there with you? And he's going to say, okay, he's going to show you, okay, well, these are the people that's in here with me. And you might feel like, oh, but I don't really, they not really here. This gets to the flesh. You still envy, jealous, you still coveted out, you still desire looking back. Remember what the Lord said. Remember Lot's wife. So still looking back is still one of the piece and part of the past that you just left from. But that's the thing that's going to get you hurt. So the only way to avoid all of that and avoid hitting the skid road of life is to remember the words of the Lord. Because if you take a chance, the scripture says if you come even too close to it, it's going to bite you. A lot of times people think, well, if I stay, if I stay this far away, I can get it, no. You can't even come close to it. Because the thought of you even flirting with it has already got you deceived to the point to where you're going to want it and you're going to justify it and you're going to fight to be a partaker of it. And you will shut those people that's trying to help you out just so that you can get the feel and find out for yourself. Once you find out for yourself, you have lost. You have committed that sin. And then you're going to realize you've committed a lot of sins. Because it ain't just one sin. It's a lot of sins. That's called failure. You have failed. You're going to fail yourself. To avoid that, you have to fear God. And you got to keep His commandments. But you got to hold yourself accountable. And the way to do that is allow the check and balance system that the Lord put in place, which is the fellowship of the Spirit. He didn't create these sanctuaries that are scattered throughout this earth for no reason. He created them so that you can have a place of refuge you can come in and that you can deliver yourself from those current situations that will turn you into the vanity and vain walkers that you see amongst your people. Our fathers have sinned and they are not. What's the last part of that?
And we have borne their iniquities.
And we follow their examples. Y'all see that? It's written in the scriptures. We have borne their iniquities. That means we follow their examples. You have to get out of that. You cannot think like your mother, like your brother, like your father. You have got to think like the Most High God. You have to think like Him. Do we understand that? You cannot follow the examples of the past. Bad attitudes. Some of you have bad attitudes. Some of you have the attitudes of shameless. Do you know what the Lord said? A shameless person is to be treated like a dog. The Most High tell men to treat a woman with no respect if she's shameless. How you going to esteem a woman standing in her panties? Get that, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 20, Ecclesiastes 26.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. Same thing, a shameless man. A shameless man would do what? A shameless man would do what, man? Give me something a shameless man would do. Go after an unproved woman. Sisters, listen up. This ain't just one way. Sisters here, sisters there, listen up. The Lord said, if a shameless woman is to be counted as a dog, she don't have no shame in her game, in what she's doing. What do you think she's trying to do? What do you think this woman is trying to do? This woman wants to get laid. So if you don't have no shame, the Lord said, count you as a dog. A man that will come to you and you know this man is just trying to pop game to get laid. The Lord said he ain't worth nothing. Count him as a dog. So now if you don't count him as a dog, how could you really take him serious? Because this is the same person that will turn you out and turn you into a whore. And you don't really realize that you being a whore, But that's what's happening. Because soon as he leaves, which he is going to leave, and another one come up, your heart is hardened against God and his laws. Then you'd go from that guy to God. Well, where this behavior come? It came from bad decisions before. Failure is real. Homelessness is real. Being hooked on drugs is real. People get hooked on drugs. They'll leave his mother. You'll leave your father. Women hooked on drugs, maybe starting with prescription pills, they'll leave their family being hooked on drugs. It'll cause you to steal. It'll cause you to rob. It'll cause you to neglect the basic things. When you see people and they smell for a reason. Because they neglect it.
Conference recording stopped. Conference recording started.
They neglect themselves. They don't have a regular setting anymore. They don't have no place. Like everybody in here has a place. You have a room. You have your space. Like, this is my space. You have a room. You have a nice clean bathroom. Nice clean house. Everything functions, this, that, and the third. The people that you see in the street that have failed, they don't have that, man. If you had told them when they were in your position, they wouldn't have never believed it. They wouldn't have never believed it. They would say, nah, it ain't that serious. I ain't gonna let it get that far. That's how Satan deceives you. That's the influence. That's the intoxication. That's the intoxicating spirit. It does that to you. Turn you out, make you into a fiend. When you're a fiend for anything. Love of money, alcohol, drugs, people. You be from house to house. Those bad choices make, people sleep outside. Looking for, like you ever heard people say, like I was watching, I guess it was Netflix, and this show called Dope. So the show called Dope, I only seen a few moments of it. I didn't see a lot. But I noticed that there were 3 females in there. They were all Caucasian. And 2 of the females, they were all strung out. One of them was bent over so backwards, I thought she was turning into like a U backwards or something. She was like tripping hard. And then the other one, she just physically just looked so abused with the street life and drugs and stuff like that. They showed her shooting up needles and stuff like that. But the other one, she was fresh out there. She hadn't been out there long. You could look at her and you can tell. Like if she came in here and sat down, you wouldn't be able to tell. But her behavior around them, she was a dope fiend. Then they started looking for some place. They shot her up, and then she went on Nod, and she did the zombie and the sway and all that. I'm like, yeah, she's gone. And then and the people that was filming it, they waited around, kept filming until she got herself together. And then she explained that she was new out there, that she hadn't been out there long and stuff like that. And they looked for any place to shoot the drugs up. They was shooting up. They was trying to shoot in the girl's jugular. That's how crazy that, now these are all Europeans. That's how crazy she was. She was like, do you know the jugular is the big vein in your neck, and you can bleed out from that. But this girl was a lot. They was trying to shoot it in her jugular vein, in the big vein in her neck. So she's on her way to her body shriveling up, her skin. It does something to your skin. I'm sure people abuse your body because when you don't have no money, I think she did say that she has to sew her body. So do you know what happens to your body parts? They fall to pieces, along with all the infections and all the diseases and all the other stuff. But it all starts when we're at a place like where we at now, where somebody's trying to tell you. We just so happen to be learning many laws, many statutes, many commandments. And that's to keep us very safe. It's to give us structure. It's to keep us from falling. That's why so many laws, so many statutes, and so many commandments. And the way is strapped, meaning straight and narrow, because it's to keep you from harm's way. Okay, so let's see. Where'd you stop at?
Oh, we read verse 25 in Ecclesiastes.
Okay, lose that. We don't need no more of that.
We use the annotations.
Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 34. Ecclesiastes chapter 34. Y'all share the video. Ecclesiastes chapter 34 and read verse 13.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 34 and verse 13. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live.
Right. The spirit of those that fear the Lord, you're going to live. A lot of people, the deaths that you hear about, these people, someplace they wasn't supposed to be, with somebody that they wasn't supposed to. You know what? And this is happening now. Who am I? I called it some years ago. It's returned. Young girls are getting killed now. Over the last few weeks, how many young girls has been killed by the hands of a man, even if we want to say an older man, somebody that they really didn't know. So y'all think that I'm just being extra, I'm going overboard, I'm just, I'm blocking. I'm blocking for a reason. I'm trying to keep you alive. But just imagine if these people had somebody in their life, trying to tell them, stay out of these men's face. Stay away from these guys. That's why we tell you sisters, hey, y'all get with these younger sisters. Y'all got to be in their life. Y'all got to make sure that y'all understand their struggles, what they're going through, so that you can help them to see that, hey, don't just fall prey into the hands of a man. Because when these young girls who are new to the truth, they just know they just happy that they know that they Israel. But then once they see that now they have become, or this guy is talking about you a possession, and now I can't go nowhere? What? Like, he can't go nowhere. They're like, nigga, please go nowhere. And then remember, if they still green, they ain't even in the truth yet. They just know that we Israel and that is true. So then they still holding on to what? Friends. Like, who is this? These dudes be so hurt, they putting these girls to death. They putting them to death. They fighting them, and the girls will end up dying. Or they so blunt, they so hard. A man is much harder than a woman. But the Most High is judging them both. Her from playing the harlot and him for playing the whoremonger. The Most High is judging them both. They failed. You failed. The spirit of those, Sirach 34:13, the spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live. If you fear the Most High, you're not going to fail. You're not going to end up pushing daisies. So we're trying to keep you from these bad relationships for a reason. Better listen. We know it hurts you. You better listen. Let people say what they're going to say. Oh, I'm going to get blah, blah, blah. Spider webs. Get spider webs then. I'm going to say I'm going to be alive. And stop thinking that it cannot happen to you. You know how many people think that it couldn't happen to them? All of the ones that are dead, they didn't think that it could happen to them. Just like you. Men and women, you do not think that it can happen to you. You better take the advice from the scriptures. Go ahead.
For their hope is in him that saveth them.
For their hope is in him. Meaning you hope the Most High save you from what? Not so much as from death, but if you are single, from being alone. The Most High knows the single sisters. He knows the single men. What do you have to do? You have to prepare yourself to serve him. And once you prepare yourself to serve him, and you're ripe, meaning your mind is ripe. Everybody walking around full figured. You got little children full figured. Right? So it ain't talking about that. It's talking about your mind. Your mind is geared on serving the Most High. Your heart is right. Your actions are fruitful amongst your other people. The Most High will pair people up like that. Not some strange newbie that don't know nothing about nothing. That person gonna kill you, man. Go, jump down to verse 16.
Verse 16. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay.
Right, so they don't fail. The eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection. Go ahead.
A defense from heat.
Go ahead.
And a cover from the sun at noon.
Right. What does the heat and the sun represents? All the agony, pain, and suffering in life. Read.
A preservation from stumbling.
Right. A preservation from stumbling. Meaning the Father will preserve you from stumbling. Somebody see you finna make a bad mistake, you might be bringing up something into your mind. Say, hey man, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The Most High say, I'm going to preserve this person. Because they're about to be foolish. So he going to preserve you from stumbling. Before you stumble, the Lord got you. You might have you ever had something in your mind and then all of a sudden one of us come around and we come out with the scriptures and now you picked up because you was just finna fall. You was finna go and do something. And now all of a sudden we come around with the scriptures because you about to stumble. Go ahead.
And help from falling.
You was gonna fall. You were about to fall. See. Let's go back to Jeremiah. All right, so Jeremiah chapter 2 and 6. Neither said they, where is the Lord that brought us out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought. So even in hard time, what did the Most High do? The Most High prepared a way for us, our foreparents, and of the shadow of death. So even though times get hard right now, we're not supposed to resort to drug dealing, Drug dealing is put in your community so that you can go out there and get it, and they can have a reason to put our men in prison. Okay? So do our women, leave our children defenseless. And what are they going to do with the children? Work them and educate them. Work them and educate them. Because once they educate your children, you ever seen a child educated by the system? Do you know you can't tell that child nothing? The damage, their conscience is seared. It's irreversible. They don't want to hear nothing from you. We experience it all the time. You get that education from them, you can hang it up. There's nothing we can tell you. Because whatever degree that they gave you, you like, I'm a scholar at this. You like, I have made it. But you be in sin. You like, wait a minute. You in sin. You breaking God's laws. You're the Israelites. Like, I don't want to hear that. I'm in college and I'm finna go back. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So where was the colleges when the Lord said, let my people go that they may serve me? Where was all the educating in Egypt then? The Lord didn't care about that education. Let us show you how to live in this world without abusing it. Let us show you how to love the Most High with all your heart, mind, and soul. Let us show you how to use the system instead of letting the system use you. Let us show you how to not love the world, not have the love of money, not have the curse, love the curse of the world, how not to love sin but love the Most High and then get success. Let us show you that using what you believe in already, even if you just start with God but you don't know no laws. Let's start with that. Because if you agree and you say, oh, I love God, okay, fine. That's what you want to call him? Fine. We're going to start with that. So then we have to start with, what does he say to do? So you're going to obey or you're not going to obey? Okay, you're going to obey. Great. So then we start with being obedient. He said to do this. He said to do that. So you'd have to return back unto him. And returning back unto him, you would have to acknowledge that your ways were not his ways. It has nothing to do with the person that's bringing out the scriptures. It has everything to do with our fathers who have sinned. And we have did what? Inherited their iniquity. We have followed their ways. So we want to depart from those ways and now walk in the commandments of the Lord. But when you read Jeremiah 2 and 6, they don't ask about the Most High. Even though we in hell and high water, we do not ask about the Most High. The deserts and pits and a land of drought and the shadow of death, we experiencing it still today. Verse 7, and I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when you entered, you defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. So us coming into this truth, our people did that then, went into the land of the Lord, where the Most High gave them everything, including first and foremost his commandments. They made it an abomination. We can't do that. We can't make the commandments of the Most High an abomination, or we're going to fail. You can't twist the scriptures. If you're not willing to be a living sacrifice, then you're not in the truth. The priest said not, where is the Lord? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me. So the leaders themselves were doing what? Breaking the laws of the Most High. So what do you think happened to them? They failed. And the prophets prophesied by Baal. How would the prophets today prophesy by Baal? So I talk about what Google talk about. I don't want to hear what Google talking about. Open the Bible up. All these different sources. Just open the scriptures up. Tell your people, thus says the Lord. And walked after things that do not profit. Wherefore, I will yet plead with you, said the Lord, and with your children's children will I plead. Jeremiah chapter 2 and 10. For pass over the isles of Shittim and see, and send into Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing. So these are other nations. Have a nation changed their gods? Think about this. Everybody, their God, even though they're idols, they have created gods that look like them. For a long time, Israel didn't create gods that look like them. They had the image of Caesar Borgia, and they was content with that. And every Sunday they were devoted because they were followed up behind another people so honestly with all their spirit that they wanted to be like those people. At one point we wanted revenge. Do you notice black men don't want revenge now? He don't want revenge now. He wants to be with him now. You got to come up out from amongst them now. Have a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods, but my people have changed their glory for that which do it not profit. What is the glory it's talking about? Being high above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Is it because of the strictness of it? Is it because of the nations give you freedom from God and his laws? I understand that women want to be loved. I don't think anybody, and I'm going to say this, and this is a broad statement, and if you just listen, you may all agree. I don't think that anybody wants to be on drugs. Oh, there are a lot of people hooked on it now. But what's the word? Hooked. But from the beginning, I don't think anybody wants to be on drugs. Do you think a 1-year-old baby wants to be on drugs? What about 2? Wherever you go on the face of the earth. What about 3 years old? 3-year-old baby wants to be hooked on heroin, snort cocaine, smoke reefer. 3 years old? 4? So nobody wants to be hooked on drugs. What about prostitute themselves? Nobody wants to do any of those things. Where did they get it from? They got it from the society. Society offered it to them. Once you get older, what would make us curious about it? Impatience. What else? What would make us curious? Not patient. Anything else you can think of? Jealousy, which is envy. Poverty. Say love of money. Poverty. Those things are just, that's lacking faith. Because when we have the faith that teaches us to trust in the Most High with everything, with all our heart. For us to not lean to our own understanding. We say, oh, well, I'm going to try and make this work out. Those are the things that make people lose. Once they get of age, in their preteens and then they teens, or they teens, close to 20, a lot of people start off young, destined for failure, looking for it. They don't understand that that's what's going to happen, but they be looking for it. So when you read Jeremiah chapter 2 and 11, but my people have changed their glory. What is the glory of God? to be righteous. Hey, conference call, a mute your phone. Right. My people have changed their glory. I know we look at the strictness, but there is some type of fame with being righteous. You having a good name. The scriptures talk about, when you read 1 Timothy 5, it talks about having a good report. So there's a glory that's associated with being God's chosen people. You cannot take that glory and then exchange it for something that's unprofitable for you. Soiled clothes, a bad name, sleeping outside, having to hang at somebody's house until, either they just tell you to spend the night or they walk you to the door and you ain't got no place to go. So you sleeping on somebody's porch or in the park or something like that. These things happen, man. Verse 12.
Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith the Lord.
Right. Because this is what the reality of what you see. At this point, everywhere we go, it's like that. Every urban neighborhood, every city, every urban block, it's like that. Then it gets to the point to where our people, they want to move up out of the situation into another environment, another zip code, another area code that's populated by heathens, because that's where the money is. But your people have brought this, we have brought this upon ourselves. So the Bible says, be astonished at this. Why did it say, oh heavens? Because you're the ones that's supposed to be high above. Horribly afraid. What will we be afraid of? Being next. Yeah, gonna be next. Be very desolate. That means messed up. Be moved behind this when you think about it. Do we like to see our people in such conditions like that? Are we understanding what got them to that? Have you ever thought to realize that they were all once? Like, give y'all an example. Do y'all know the guy? He be on Union. He be on Union, and he's bent over. He's bent over like this. Y'all see him? Y'all see him? You see him? What about y'all sisters? Y'all see him? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Right there on Union somewhere, right? Right across Natural Bridge. I knew that guy. When I was a teenager, his name's Boo. Boo was a big time player. He was normal. I had to be probably, 17, 18 years old. Boo was a big time player. He wasn't like that. He was a normal young man. What I thought was really cool. But you would never tell. The Most High allowed, that's a spirit on him now. The Most High has put a spirit on him, and now he's bent over like this in the shape of an L. He walks like this his whole life. He walks like this now. never to think that things like that, you know, that those people were once like you. Do anybody else know anything that happened to somebody that's, you know, they some type of way now, but they wasn't always like that?
My older cousin, Kenny G. He back when I was young, I looked up to him. He was like a big time player too. Tall, light skinned guy, had good hair, waves and everything. And he had all the flies clothes. And every time I would go over there, I would be like trying to run up behind him. And they said, "Young and Ted on the west side," back when I was younger. He'd be out like, "No, go back to the house, you can't hang out with me." But over the years, as I got older, he started getting, he got caught up with substance abuse. He started they always smoke weed, but then he started playing around with like crack, cocaine. For the life of me, I don't know how he got caught up with it, but he started doing crack. You know what I'm saying? They sent him out to the crack, and now to this day, like his mind is like, he ain't safe. He got a normal functioning person. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where he at. My mom, his older brother, be looking for him, asking, have I seen him? Because every now and then I talk to other members of the family who like be out here. And they'll be like, I seen him one time and that was it. But I ain't seen him. So I go back like, yo, can't find him.
Okay. So Kenny's missing. That's you know, crack got him. He's up at a crack house somewhere. Piped out. Be astonished. Everything that you see, all the actions that you see people without any common sense, people just crazy. They got the crazies, man. Verse 13, Jeremiah 2:13.
For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters,
Right.
and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water.
What is that saying? My people they have committed two evils. The Lord said Israel has committed two evils. The first thing they did was they forsook the word. The second thing is, and it's like that for real. That's what it says. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. And this is the second one. And when you hew, that means you chisel something out. So if something is in stone, can you get rid of that very easy? You can't never wipe that away because it's what? It's chiseled in stone. So it says they have hewed out them citrums, meaning they said, I'm finna drink of this here. So they created new things and they drinking of it. They say, gong, 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 gong. Just like women can cross-dress. I'm going to drink from this. Gong, 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 gong. You can eat anything you want on the face of the earth. Gong, 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 gong. You can drink anything. You could just continue to marry after 1,000 failed attempts. Gong, 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 gong. So the Lord said Israel is broken. He said they do, regardless of what the Bible says, sister, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Men, gong, 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 gong. That's me drinking, gonking it up. Gong, 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 gong. I could just sleep with women. Women come into the body, come around, she knows she Israel, give her a hair, come and sleep with her. Gong, 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 gong. You can't do that. Two things. I need you to repent, or your blood is going to be upon you. Where's the blood at? In the person's what? Body. And in order for that blood to come out, your body going to have to get opened up. We don't need no more bad examples. No more stumbling blocks. Tired of Israel failing. Tired of sin Israel failed. If they're going to fail, let it not be because of you. Verse 14.
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
Why is he spoiled? Are we supposed to be in the situation that we in, failing? Wearing ourselves down. Working from sun up to sundown. Every day of our life. That's spoiled. That's spoiled. In other words, did God create Israel to be a servant? No, he did not. No, he did not. Why are you serving? Is he a homeborn slave? Did he create you to be a slave? The answer is no. Why is he spoiled? Why has he failed? It shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. That's why we have failed. That's why we are spoiled. All right. So Hebrews chapter 6. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 7.
This is the book of Hebrews 6 and 7. For the earth which drinketh in the rain that cometh oft upon it, and bringeth forth herbs, meat for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessing from God.
So, who understand that precept? Raise your hand. Okay. Hebrews chapter 6 and 7. Read it again.
This is Hebrews 6 and 7. For the earth which drinketh in the rain that cometh oft upon it, and bringeth forth herbs, meat for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessing from God.
This is not a face value precept to where you could just read this and understand this. This is referring to something totally different. You know what it's referring to? It's referring to you. And it's referring to you putting in like the rain that's coming down. And the earth being your people. For the earth was drinketh in the rain that cometh oft, meaning often appointed. So we're supposed to be like the rain, watering the earth, watering your people. Watering your people, okay? And bring it forth herbs, meat for them. Meaning you're bringing forth things that are good for them, by whom it is dressed. Receiveth blessings from God. So you're going to receive blessings from the Most High for doing so. Verse 8.
But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected.
Right, but that which beareth thorns and briars. Now say, for instance, if you carrying around thorns and briars, that's like sticker bushes. Can somebody eat sticker bushes? Those, huh? Those are not food consumption. You cannot consume that. So a briar is like, it's like a shrub, but it's got thorns on it. It's got sticker, like pricks and things on it. But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected. And so if we're rejected, then we're going to fail. That's the moral of it. If you're doing things that you cannot profit the people for, you yourself is end up going to fail. You're going to fail. Go ahead.
And is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned.
Right, whose end is. So you're very near unto cursing. Like the curses in Deuteronomy. You're very close to that. If you carrying around briars and thorns, something that cannot water this earth, so that it can bring forth herbs to where other people can eat from them. Because we've got to be teachers. We got to be builders. We're part of the Most High's husbandry. We got to be building this thing. And I know it seems hard because there's a lot of people that are, I think we, instead of just looking at the situation, just like, hey, we ain't gonna be able to help nobody, this, that, they don't want to listen. I feel like that at times too. A lot of people, they argue, they fight back, you know, Satan hop on them. I just got to remember the ones that do want to listen. I just have to remember the ones that do want to listen. Don't add more problems to the situation that's already at hand, so that we ourselves, that we don't end up nigh unto cursing. Because everybody like that, the scriptures say their end is to be what? Burned, meaning they won't make it. Okay? So now let's move on to the next one before we get any questions about that. About failure. Okay. Matthew 5. Matthew 5 and 13.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and 13. Ye are the salt of the earth.
Right. We are the salt of the earth. Go ahead.
But if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
Why would the salt lose its savor? It's a question. Why would the salt, if we're the salt, what is our savor? What is our savor? Savor, it's the taste that food have. Anybody got a favorite food? What's your favorite food, young blood? Macaroni. Macaroni. Okay. Who's your favorite cook that cooks the macaroni? The sisters. Okay. What ingredient sticks out the most to you? Mm-hmm. Pepper. Okay. Okay. So without no pepper, would you still eat it? Maybe not. probably still would, but maybe not. Maybe. We need something with some strong savor in it. It makes a difference. Some ingredients make a world of a difference to. So now, like if you had to say salt, you can't eat it. Salt makes a big difference in that macaroni. But I mean, with you, I understand that, that pepper, the right pepper do. Anybody else? What's your favorite food?
One of them was cheeseburger.
Cheeseburgers. I mean, so we're finna do with the same cheese because that's what's in the background.
Ground beef.
The ground beef?
Yeah. Cheese is an extra additive.
Okay.
So seasoning, salt, garlic powder, pepper, that Creole, what's it called? Creole seasoning. Yeah. You got
So without any of that, it tastes kind of bad, huh?
Not bad, yeah.
Right. So that's how we are. We're the seasoning to this earth. We are the seasoning to this earth. But if we lose it, that's something. How do we get it? And why would we lose it? So our seasoning is the keeping of the commandments, being a light and an example. Getting it back is really hard. Because lust has the ability to deceive you and make you think that all the things that you were saying, all the things that you were holding back for is just really useless. That's why you see the slogans in the earth like, just do it. Have it your way. Obey your thirst. Because lust is telling you that there's no reward for good works. There's no reward for, it's just boredom. How many people think the truth is bored? It's boring. Don't be afraid. How many people think the truth is boring? Okay. 1, 2, that's it? 3? That's you? You? 4? Okay. So some people, there's a few, think the truth is boring. So now, those of you that thinks the truth is boring, be careful. Be careful. The reason is Satan will come through lust and try and entertain you. And you'd end up sin. You'd end up in sin trying to give place to the world. Because if it wasn't for the world, if the world was in complete order, you wouldn't know anything outside of the character of the commandments of the Lord. It would be a way of life. Do you understand? So with the commandments coming into this earth randomly like the way that it is, it's being introduced in the midst of sin. So now we have to look, like we're looking like to the side to side, looking backwards, being in this truth now, and have to, constantly being reminded, say, no, don't even worry about that, let it go. So you have to be very careful, because the world is full of pride. The things that Israel that we call fun is really sin. So you have to learn within the things that the Most High give you and say, okay, I'm going to be pleased with that. So you can't, with letting the world rule, how does that turn out for Israel? Look at the condition that we're in. With the world being in fun, and everybody just free to do whatever they want to do, this is the role that we play. We play the role of a servant. We play the role of a homeborn slave. We play the role of being spoiled. That's our role in this show that's created. You can't have it no other way. Everybody understand that? It's not another way to where you on top, and you can do, like we'll switch with Esau. Esau at the bottom, they catch your hell, you on top in sin. No matter what you do wrong, it ain't no failing. It's not set up like that. It's set up, if you do wrong, you fail. If you lose your savor, you lose. So what the plan of the Father is for everything to be according to this book, according to his writings, his words. And then the same way that your memory were erased is the same way that this sin is going to be eradicated. It's going to be hot as an oven. It's going to burn. Let's get that. Let's see. Yeah, Malachi 4:1.
This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, and verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven.
Right. The day cometh that shall burn as an oven. You know why? Because it's full of all things that are what? They're fun. Well, fun meaning sin. It's full of sin. Freedom. So when that day comes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And all the proud.
And all the proud. The proud is those that didn't do the Most High's will, and all the nations that didn't do the Most High's will. Go ahead.
Yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. That it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Right. So the day of the Lord is gonna burn. It's gonna burn like an oven. It's gonna be on fire. Okay. So let's go back. First John 2:17.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
So the world gonna pass away. It's gonna burn like an oven. So now, once it passes away and it's burning like an oven, and that's all done after all the ashes settle, the commandments, that's going to be the new style. It ain't going to be no remembrance of this former life. Because all the proud is going to die. All the ones that rebelled against the Most High, they're going to be dead. So then, no amusement parks, no concerts, no Beatles, no none of that. No Hollywood. Triple X movies, no Cinemax, no fornication on television, no television, no boom boom radios, none of that. It's all going to be destroyed. Only the commandments and people that want to keep the commandments. That's the only way you're going to stop killing. Right now, I mean, if you find with killings, if you find with murders, lesbianism, homosexuality, abortion, drug dealing, drug murders, kidnapping, rape, robbery, theft, this is our place. This is the place for that. But in God's kingdom, that stuff ain't gonna exist. So you need savor. You need to prefer that, because that's what's gonna live. Remember, everybody that sinned against the Most High, they are not. They didn't survive. Even the ones that took pleasure in them that did sin against God, they didn't survive. They don't survive. So when you go back to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13, when it's saying you are the salt of the earth, it's telling you that that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to bring season and flavor unto the planet, to where when people see you, you're the thing that's trending. You're the example that they're supposed to set, that they're supposed to follow. So if you take away sin, and now they see you, now everybody wants to be like you, instead of you wanting to be like the population, and the population is full of sin. If the salt has lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under the foot of men. It sounds like that Christ is saying that if you got it and you lose it, you ain't getting it back. You can't get it back. So for those people that feel that I'm going to go into the streets, into the world, and come back, you have to think again. Because Christ said right here, how is it going to get salted again? It's worthless. Cast it out. And men going to do what? Destroy you. And that's when you see people kill you. They're killing girls, kidnapping girls. Bodies are being found without organs. Police is killing you. You being took into jail. You hung in jail. You still being hung in Mississippi. Being shot up while you innocent. Clear as day on video. Found not guilty. Hands up. Still shoot you up. Laying down on the ground with hands above your head. Still. These people were being hunted because we have lost our savor. When you have an opportunity to repent, you need to repent. You don't need to play games. You need to repent. Or your number gonna come up. Verse 14.
Ye are the light of the world.
You are the light that's supposed to be on this earth. You have to act like you are a light that's supposed to be on this earth. Go ahead.
A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid.
That's right, the Israelites. Now, if we exalt these commandments, everybody is going to see that. And what's going to happen? More and more going to be coming up saying, hey, because the Most High is giving people the Spirit to come up and say, hey, I want to fellowship with y'all. Teach me, show me, help me out. We ain't supposed to be hid. We're not supposed to hide the thing that's inside of us by going and mix and mingle amongst the world that he told us to come out from among and be separate. You're supposed to be separated. So when we teach you to separate yourself, we're teaching you because the Lord said to separate yourself. so that the light that's inside of you can shine. Get it in 2 Corinthians 6. Second Corinthians chapter 6, 17.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate.
You see that? Come out from among them and be separate. Let's see if my name is in that book. Read.
Said the Lord.
I'm not God. Said the Lord. The Lord is Yahweh, the Most High. Some people say Ahaya or Yahuwah. But it's the Most High. He the person that said it. Come out from among them and be separate. Separate yourself. You see? So the Father is a separator. That means he loved to separate people, to keep them from causing confusion amongst each other. He likes to separate them to keep them from causing confusion amongst each other. You are not an Edomite, so you're not to do what Edomites do. You're not an Ammonite, or a Moabite, or a Canaanite, or an Ishmaelite. You are an Israelite. So being an Israelite, you must obey the voice of the Father that he has got written in these scriptures pertaining to Israelites. And he said to come out from among them and be separate. We just read it. And do what?
And touch not the unclean thing.
Those are people. Don't touch anything that is not right about them. Yes, you have to go to work with them. Some of you have to go to school by them. Don't touch them. Go ahead.
And I will receive you.
And I'll take you. I will accept you. That's what it says. Read.
And I will be a father unto you.
He said, and I will be a father unto you, meaning he will accept you. Read.
And ye shall be my sons and daughters.
So he's talking to not just men, but also the sisters too, said the Lord Almighty. Read the next verse.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 7 and 1. Having therefore these promises.
What is the promise? That he'll be your God. And we know that if he's our God, he will not leave us nor forsake us. Having these promises, go ahead.
Dearly beloved,
read.
Let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit.
Our flesh is physical. Our spirit is mental. Stop being disobedient. Stop physically breaking his laws. And stop mentally lusting after the breaking of the laws. Because they bring a judgment behind everything. Failure is real. And that's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to fail. Read.
Perfecting holiness in the fear of God.
Right. Perfecting what you're doing in the fear of the Most High. I fear the Most High, so I'm going to do this. I don't want to fail. Go back to Matthew chapter 5. You can start.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men.
Right, so everything that he teach you, that's supposed to shine. Are you supposed to hide your fringes? No. How is people going to know that you are somebody that has repented and that now you coming back as the Israelites? The Israelites were given a commandment to do that. When somebody see that, they say, oh man, you Israel, huh? Hey, Shalom. I'm walking down the street. Dude in the FedEx dress, Shalom. That's why I was looking out the door. I was like, oh, he's holding up traffic. I said, come back around, man. He's like, all right, just 30 seconds. He starts walking, fringes blowing to the left and the right. He's like, oh, those my people. Hey, Shalom. I'm like, oh, what's up, brother? Shalom, man. How you doing? Nothing.
That's Sam's too.
Yeah. A few hours ago, another person at Sam's. Same thing. Let your light shine. That's just a physical thing. But it has to move into our actions, how you deal with them, how you speak to them, how you walk, how you talk, how you live. How you live. I told y'all, man. Gave my phone number to somebody at least 3 years ago. They finally called and say, hey, I don't know nobody else around here. It's like, huh? You have my number this long? I'm thinking this to myself. You don't know anybody else, huh? I'm glad to be of some use. The scriptures say, and he watches, he said, I know you know how to deal with your family. I see you. He said these things. People are supposed to see your actions. Even a child is known by their doings. So y'all children, you better not be cutting up when you at school. A child is known by his doings. A person knows when you a good child. They know when you are a good child. They know when you a deceivable seed too. You a bad child. They know when you a good brother. Brothers, don't be shaming the Most High, his commandments. Sisters, don't be shaming the Most High's commandments, making them look bad. You got to let that light shine. Yes, you're going to go through some hard times. People are going to laugh at you. They might say something about your strings. I'm going to look like a curtain. I've been through all of that, man. I really did. You know what I did? Went somewhere else. But when it came to my performance, shut that mouth up. Nothing they can say about me. I will work you up under this building. To this day. I will, to this day, mess with me if you want them. I will work you up under the building. Because of the Spirit of the Most High is with me. I know what I'm doing. The scriptures say, so when you at work, you go to the left, let all the vain talkers, you don't try to prove them right, try to prove them wrong. Let all the vain talkers do them. Move to the side. Move to the side. Let them move on to the side. But as for you, you go your own way. They gonna talk. A lot of times that be a test for you to see, for you to experience that, so that you can explain that to somebody else. You gonna know what it look like. Oh yeah, I know how they. But the thing is, they know that you don't lie. They know you don't take nothing. They know that you don't trash talk. They know that you right. You righteous. They gonna know that you a good person at the end of the day. When they need somebody good, they gonna come to you. When they need another devil, they gonna go to somebody else. Let your light shine. That's what this Bible is talking about. Go ahead.
That they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
So people will also be thankful unto the Most High. Why? Because you're going to show them how they should act. Do y'all really realize that people appreciate you in your life? When you start, you really living when you start living for somebody else. Do you understand that? When I say you start living for somebody else, hey, I'm going to be the best person that I can be, because it's going to help you as a man be the best person that you can be. So I'm going to make sure that I don't let you down as a brother. I'm going to make sure I don't let you down as a parent. I'm as an elder, as this, as that. Whatever situation I'm in, guess what? I'm going to keep me. I'm going to lay down myself. That's John. I'm going to lay down my life for you, man. I ain't going to do this because I know I got to give an account. The Most High won't like that, and my family, my brother, my sister, my wife, my son, my daughter wouldn't like that. When y'all start living like that, you living there. You living there. But as long as you care about yourself, you ain't living in this truth yet. You still selfish. You still selfish. Now, if the scriptures say, "Let your light so shine among men that they may see your good works," you struggling between you and the past. Because you, the natural you, the present you, is still wanting to partake in some of the things that you used to do. That ain't no light. The scriptures say you were once ashamed of those things. So you cannot show that to me, a sister, another brother. You can't bring that out. Because that's going to make you look how? Very bad, very shameful. So, but when you make the sacrifice to say, I am going to do this because I know I am leaving an example for somebody else to follow, that's a part of living in this truth. It ain't got nothing to do with man pleasing. We're not telling you to do it because somebody is bossing you to do it. No, we're saying let's be a sacrifice. Like when you read Romans 15, that we have to please our neighbor to his good, to edification. That ain't just in word. We got to love in deed too. So we're at Matthew chapter 5. Or we can stop it there. In 16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. So with that being said, I want us to pay attention to this. This is it. With that being said, can we do something to where we make sure that our light is shining? Just take it and keep moving, man. Go downstairs and give it to the sister down there. Thank you. Can we just do something, this little project or whatever we want to call it? Let your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify the Father. Let somebody see you and be grateful for your actions towards them. You show somebody how to live in this truth. Let's make that a thing to do between now and Thursday. That's a short amount of time, ain't it? Right, Jay? Write a novel. So do you understand what's being asked of us? It's wrote here in the scriptures. I'm just reminding you. So between now and the next time we come back, even if I don't ask you, I still want you to be able to give an account and say, you know what? I was a light. I let my light shine. I was a light. And this person, they saw how we should be doing things. Everybody understand that? So maybe I should ask then on Thursday, who let that light shine? I probably won't have to ask. I'll leave it up to chance then. Who did you let that light shine to? But let's challenge ourselves to that. To let our light shine. It might be a challenge for you because sometimes we could get a little stubborn. We could play too much, right, Shar? And we don't care what I don't care what who you play with. I don't care what they say. You have to care what they say. Because the stuff you do is making them react. So we should seek a good reaction from people. Right? If they give us a good reaction based off something that we're doing, that light is shining. Your lamp is glowing because you got a good reaction. Does that sound reasonable? Right. Don't come back empty-handed. Right, Sarai? Don't come back empty-handed. Come back like, okay, I did something, and somebody was able to see it, and I was an example. Because we teach people how to act. So, Matthew 26. And if you get it done once, then try it again. Don't just do it once and then go back to playing. All the hacklers. If you do it once, then do it again. But you got to be like trying to do stuff on purpose. Like I'm gonna go into this situation knowing that I'm gonna be serious about setting the right example. Right? Okay. Matthew 26:6. Says, now when Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought to get work upon me. For ye are the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that shall pour this ointment on my body. She did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So all praises to the Most High for giving this sister the spirit to come forth and give Christ some comfort for his burial, and bring forth a beautiful example of a broken and contrite heart. Okay. The Lord's Communion, 1 Corinthians 11:23. For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that of Mashiach Yahushua, meaning the Messiah, whom the world calls Jesus Christ, has the Hebrew name of Yahushua. All right? The same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. So all repentant Israelites should be doing the communion of Christ. Okay? And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Okay, so. Most high in the name of Christ, take it for the food, drink, amen. This is body which is broken for you. This is blood. All right. So that's it. We are going to as far as travel, if we find some place to go, who's gonna be available this weekend? Remember, we said the second week in July, twice a month, second week in July, then the end of July, then 2 weeks in August, and end of August. We'll see, though. We'll see. So I start juggling it even more tonight. We'll know something, and I try and see as fast as we can, as fast as I can. I know it's all of a sudden, but the reminder's all of a sudden, but we did say something. Typically, we do have something already a little bit more, but we'll see. All right. So that's it. Let's send up prayers. Let's go. Stand and face Jerusalem. Y'all stay around for the prayers. Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6:9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10:2. Therefore said unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the labors are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Bless you, Most High, King of heaven and earth, and all things, Most High, in the name of the Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your harvest, to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws, to stand before thy people Israel. Give to us strength to break down all lies with thy word. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel. Numbers chapter 6:24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Children of Israel, bless one another.
Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you all.
Shamora, what's up, sis? Shalom, shalom. Who's left on here? What's up? What's up, Miss Sheila? How you doing? All right, sis. Hey.